Hello and welcome to Heart Nation. I'm Zakariya Adeel.
And I'm Shuva.
And this is Jan. You can't really see her quite here, but she's right here in the middle. There you go. There she is. So thank you for joining us here on Heart Nation. Today we have a wonderful guest who's going to talk about her project, the Freedom Festival. We are going to ask her some questions about herself because she's a bit of a mystery. We can't find too much about her online. So I think we're going to ask her about herself and let her introduce herself. You think that's a good idea?
Yeah, so. Just go right into it.
Cool. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tahra.
Oh. Hi, thank you so much. So where shall I start? My name's Tahra, and I think you guys know me because of Freedom Festival. So I started Freedom Festival shortly after the first few protests that we had when the lockdown was still going on. And it just occurred to me that I wasn't really getting very far with the protest side, because we were just being chased like cat and mouse by the police and being fined and being arrested. And it was really important for me to be constructive. So, and I'm always about creating what I want, focusing on what I want to manifest, rather than fighting what I don't want. So that's when I conceived of the idea of a Freedom Festival, which will be to invite people, like-minded people, to come and sit down in our beautiful parks in the summer and talk about constructive ideas, talk about solutions, and also to heal ourselves, because we've gone through a very sort of like traumatic, sudden lockdown, closing the whole, not just the country, but the whole world. And we know what's pending. We know, we've done all the research, we've been down the rabbit holes, and we know what this means, and that this is part of their Agenda 21 and the whole control mechanism that they are now going to put in place. So it was really important for me to feel that I was surrounded by like-minded people, that I could fully express myself. If anyone was like me, I had been excluded by my friends, literally kicked out of lots of WhatsApp groups because of what I was posting. They thought I was, crazy conspiracy theorist. I was insensitive. I didn't care about all these people dying of COVID. They thought that, the doctors and scientists that I was referring to were just kooks. My family thought, again, I'm just one of these one of my crazy conspiracy ideas again. So it was really important for me to connect with like-minded people. And I love nature. I love the London parks, and I really believe very strongly in preventative medicine. It's actually my business. It's what I teach. Alkaline nutrition as preventative medicine, and as part of that, the basic foundation is oxygen. So going in areas, especially where there's trees that give off give off oxygen to us, and they clean up our carbon dioxide. Being an area where we can take our shoes off, ground, connect to the Earth's electromagnetic field, and let that harmonize our electromagnetic field. Be an area where there's away from the pollution, lots of vitamin D3, all of that. So it's a combination of doing all of that and expressing ourselves, healing ourselves, and then talking about solutions. So that's how Freedom Festival was conceived. And it was literally a labor of love, working on my own for 99% of the time, doing everything on my own, bringing together a beautiful community of people, educating and empowering them. And then all of a sudden, when so we used to meet every Saturday, so we've met every single Saturday, without fail at 2 p.m. in one of the parks, and then when it closed down, when the second lockdown happened, and also when it when it started getting cold, we started meeting in a restaurant. And then now, when the restaurants are closed down, we've continued to meet in each other's homes. So we've continued. We haven't broken that chain. And also when there's a big event, a rally, a march or whatever, a big one, we always go to that, and then we always then regroup and we go for a meal or we go for a picnic in the park afterwards. So even on those days, we always continue with our Freedom Festival, and it's we never leave before midnight. We're always running for the last train. So it's been an amazing, I call them my Freedom Festival family. It's been amazing.
Oh wow, that's really lovely. It's funny because when you were talking about how you started it, it seems like you used the law of attraction, because I know they say in The Secret, don't fight against what you don't want. You have to focus on what you do want. So rather than being anti-war, you have to be pro-peace.
Yeah.
So is that kind of what you had in mind? So you thought, well, rather than focusing on fighting against the establishment, you put your focus on creating solutions in a peaceful way. Is that kind of what you had in mind?
Yeah, exactly. The only difference I would say is that with the law of attraction, I found that they were very much focused on manifesting personal gain, personal wealth, personal well-being, whereas I've always come from a space of manifesting universal abundance, universal peace, universal community. So for me, the whole law of attraction only went so far. And I would always, if I was in any meditation or group or whatever, I would always change the I to we, always.
Wow. So you're sort of embracing the whole, if you like, the whole group and the whole world, the whole universe. Is that the idea?
Yeah. So the whole idea is that there is so much abundance available for us. We produce 3.5 times the amount of food that we need to feed every single man, woman, and child on this earth. Wow. 3.5 times. So this is stupidity to say that the earth doesn't produce enough. We actually overproduce, and then because of the way that the matrix structure, the pyramid structure, is designed, it's designed to create scarcity, and it's designed to create maximum profit for the very few. So that means that unfortunately millions have to go without, millions have to suffer and starve. And that it doesn't have to be that way. Yeah. We already have abundance. We just need to remove that evil 1% and restructure it so that that abundance is available for everyone. It's already there. We don't even have to create more. It's already there. We just have to restructure and remove those, the people with the evil intentions, and create the abundance and the harmony and the joy that is already available there for us.
How do we do that? This is the big question.
So I'm creating with the Freedom Festival. I'm already creating in the present that we have that freedom. And the reason why I called it Freedom Festival is I already am in my own heart and mind and soul, without any doubt whatsoever. I'm already living my freedom with total joy, because I have absolute conviction that that is what we will manifest. And in linear time, that is to come. But in reality, there is no linear time, really. So we can create that right now. We can create that. We have that right now. And the more powerfully we feel it in our feelings and emotions and in our thoughts and in our hearts and in our souls, the more powerfully we feel that, the quicker we will manifest it. So it's creating that in our present tense right now, because what they want to do is control us with the emotion of fear. Mm-hmm. Fear paralyzes, fear disables, fear stops you in your tracks. And the opposite to fear, or to disappear fear, takes courage.
Mm.
To take action in the face of fear takes courage. And I'm about empowering people to get connected with that divine inner power that we all have. Every single one of us has that divine inner power. And once we get connected to that, we have that courage to face that fear, to face that enemy in the eye and take them on. And fear is that one thing that grows smaller the nearer that you get to it. It doesn't grow bigger. And I can do that. I can empower people. I do that. I do that very quickly, do that very successfully. And the more people that not just I can empower, but I'm training, and I have trained the most amazing team of coaches. They are doing that now.
So this is your background. You're a life coach.
Yeah. So I'm a life coach, and it's something that really comes easily to me anyway. But now I know why I took the training in becoming a life coach. It's because of what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm training others to also be life coaches. And really, it's about busting that fear
Mm-hmm.
and creating courageous spiritual warriors that are out there at the grassroots level easily, with ease. Now they're standing up to, for example, the police, standing up to whatever the government wants to throw at us. I'm working with businesses now. So it's the businesses now whose necks are on the line, on the chopping block. They want to ensure that all these small and medium-sized businesses are decimated.
Mm.
These are the small and medium-sized businesses that make the backbone of our economy. They employ millions of people. And they want to rip the guts out of our small and medium-sized business owners.
We said in one of our earliest videos, we said that this was the plan. I think it was May. We were saying that they want to destroy the small businesses. They're going to go after them. This is what it's about: crashing the economy. We said that in May.
Yeah, we talked about that.
So,
but also what you were saying about us getting in touch with our inner power very much relates to sort of what is said to come in. I don't know if you've heard about the Great Conjunction and the Great Awakening. So on the 21st of December, there's going to be a big astrological alignment, the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius. So a lot of these planets have been in Capricorn throughout this whole year, but that's moving into Aquarius, which is the sign of society, humanity. So it's indicating a change in paradigm, if you like, and people power, people taking back their own power, coming into their own, power and sovereignty. And I guess that's very much related to what you do as well. Yeah. So how did you start getting into this work? How did you start getting into finding out about what was going on behind the scenes and going into common law, life coaching? How did you get into it?
I think my sort of landmark moment in my life came about in 2010 when I did a self-development course. And that's where I realized the power of coaching. That's where I was at the receiving end of how powerful it is to not just go and read a book on self-development, but really be at the receiving end of a powerful coach. And it was a series of courses that I did. And I've totally turned my life around. So it's literally the Tahra before April 2010 and the Tahra after April 2010.
Oh, wow.
And the Tahra after is unrecognizable from the Tahra before. I recreated myself. So I didn't have to be the victim of whatever had happened to me in my life. All of the, the awful things that someone said, or I made something mean something because someone said, and I was carrying that in my subconscious. I let go of all of that, and not just so easily, but through, like I said, some powerful sessions in coaching, and then over, I just literally within maybe a couple of months or so, I left my job, and which I'd wanted to do for years. I didn't have the courage to leave a very secure job and set out, doing my own thing. And I realized that what my passion was um, human rights and justice. And I ended up leaving, a really well-paid job, living in central London, several holidays a year, to being happy and content with taking a dramatic salary cut and earning, enough money to get by, but doing what I really am passionate about and makes me feel fulfilled, and know that I'm on my, fulfilling my mission and on purpose. And that's why now everything that I've been working towards is all falling into place. So for me, it's been, the lockdown is obviously an awful thing to have happened, but it also means that everything that is meant to come to pass is now at last coming to pass. And for me, that means creating that beautiful, abundant paradise where everyone has, all their basic requirements and more met, and removing most of all that evil cabal forever.
Yeah. Wow. So do you feel like part of that is to let people know that they can have everything they need without being stuck in a job that makes them really miserable, for example, like what you mentioned in your story? Is it about empowering people in that way to sort of trust the process of life to help them on their path to freedom?
Yeah, so there's a situation at the moment which can drag on maybe for years, if people do not connect with that inner knowing, with their intuition, with their connection to source, and they let that fear paralyze them, and this can be dragged out, or we can get connected to who we really are, to our source, and come together, and really quickly, really quickly, we could have that really dramatic, profound shift within our own consciousness. And our consciousness is all connected. And when we're all connected, all having this shift in our individual consciousness, then it's the shift that's happening is in the world, in the universe, then becomes exponential, and it's speeded up. So I can do whatever I can right now to enable that to happen.
Yeah,
with individuals and with small business owners. The small business owners are my priority at the moment, because they are weeks away from total annihilation.
Well, the small business owners seem to be the ones that are most vulnerable and the ones that are the targets, aren't they? So that's quite understandable. So are they the ones who are making up quite a lot of your client base?
So at the moment, I'm just setting up the structure to deal with this with integrity. I've had so many people, small businesses, contact me because of my work, and I am not able to take them on. Wow. Because I'm dealing with one at the moment, and it is absolutely just heartbreaking. If you're an empath, it's very difficult. It's not like, you in the corporate world, you have a client, lots of clients, and you deal with them, you charge them for the hour. It doesn't work like that for people like us. It's, you're at the end of the call, texting, messaging constantly, day and night.
And I guess as an empath, it's very hard to just leave your work behind, because you're constantly thinking about them. You're thinking, are they going to be all right? What's happening with them? How are they feeling? Do you find that?
Oh gosh, so it's so this last few weeks that I've been supporting my business client, I have broken down again and again and again.
Oh.
So it's incredibly, incredibly tough. So I'm incorporating all of this newfound knowledge and experience with my coaches. So I've been really working diligently in empowering them, training them, letting them know just how much is entailed. So we're not going to go into this until we are ready. And I feel, obviously, at the same time, incredibly guilty that all these people who need our support, I'm unable to give them that support. But like I said to you earlier on, if I'm going to do something, it's not going to be with 100%. It's 1,000%. So until I'm ready, and until I know that my business coaches are ready, we're not going to be taking that on. So it's constant training, constant coaching just for us, and a huge amount of work going in setting up the foundation. But we are now days away from that. So we should be up and running, hopefully within a few days, where we can then open up, go live with the website and take on, the business clients.
Wow. So I understand that you have sessions that you're running twice a week, is that right? On Wednesdays and Fridays. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so at the moment, because of the big rally or march that's happening on the 28th of November?
Yes.
Yeah, 28th. And so they had said, so it was Save Our Rights and Stand Up. They were saying that it was going to be at Battersea Park, but we always knew it wasn't going to be at Battersea Park. So it's now being confirmed that it will be at King's Cross, 12 p.m. Yeah. And that's an excellent location. It's a huge concourse. There's God knows how many roads that lead off. I used to live in Russell Square, so I know that area really well. And there's dozens and dozens of roads leading off, and also, the whole sort of like King's Cross area, going into the station, exits, entrances. So there's no way that the police can really kettle us, but what they have been doing. So the idea is that I'll be going there with my team of Lawful Observers, and people know me from that video, I think, where I basically give notice to all the senior officers, put them on notice, and they did not arrest or fine or commit any violence on any of us that day. And that was after the violence was getting worse and worse. And then the following Saturday we did the same, and again we marched all through Oxford Street, London. Not one single bit of violence, not one single bit of any arrest, and not even a fine. And then the following, and then there was another Saturday which went smoothly, Save Our Rights. This was a month ago. And then at the end of that, they came and they started dispersing the crowds. And when they weren't dispersing, they started arresting people. And on that day, we were on our way out, and we always go and have a meal at an Italian restaurant. And we turned back, and right from the very beginning, when I started teaching people what to say on my Wednesday night Zooms, which is how to not make joinder with the police, how to avoid getting fined and arrested. I also had a call to action that we need to hold these police officers to account.
I just want to find out from you, what is your intention here today? I've been on lots of peaceful rallies and marches, and on the whole, the peace has been great. Recently, it's been getting worse and worse. Right. There was a huge amount of blood, huge amount of injuries at the last one, and I just want to make sure that today goes peacefully.
That would be good if it doesn't.
So we are here to observe our lawful right to march peacefully. This is what we're doing.
Yep.
According to our human rights.
Yep.
Okay. I want to know what it is that you're here for.
What are we here for?
Yeah.
Preservation of life, prevention and detection of crime, to ensure that you guys can actually go about and do what you want to do, but you have to do it peacefully and lawfully.
And we need to do that through the common law route, which is that you take them to account in their private capacity, not as a police officer. And I'm a absolute passionate believer in practicing what I preach. So I'd already, practiced how to avoid joinder, escaping arrest and escaping fines on numerous occasions. So I could teach exactly that very successfully to other people. But what I hadn't practiced was holding these officers to account. And the only way that I could hold officers to account is if they actually arrested me. So I knew right from the very beginning that I would have to be arrested. And that was one of the things that did scare me. So things don't really scare me, but that did. I had an association that, being arrested is for criminals and, lowlifes and druggies and, those sort of people. And it was dirty and it was beneath me. And I didn't want anything to do with, being in a cell. So it took a lot of my own, getting around my own self-limiting beliefs about all of that, and coaching myself to get to the stage where on that day I was ready to be arrested. So I went back and I just kept sort of like, not confronting, because that would not be an honor, but just in honor saying, no, I'm not going to be leaving. And then they arrested me. And so now I'm going through the process of doing what needs to be done to hold them to account. And now I can also, I'm now also practicing what I'm preaching in that area as well.
Wow. I mean, you're very brave. I mean, I saw you on video and how you confronted the police. You just went right up to them, and I said, wow, look at her. So
where did you learn about all of the common law stuff?
So that started way back. So remember I said when I sort of left my job and started doing what I was passionate about in 2010. So probably quite soon after that, I started learning about common law. I co-founded a social justice movement in 2013, 14. And that was based around common law as well. And that was probably a bit way ahead of its time. And again, there were lots of contradictions. There was the Freeman movement. There was all these other ways of doing things, Magna Carta, Article 61, lawful dissent, lots of different ways. And what I love to do is keep things really simple. So common law is for the common people. And it's so that we can understand very simply, really the whole gist of the law, which is cause no harm, cause no injury, cause no loss, and honor your contracts. So it's really simple. Mm-hmm. No harm, loss, injury, and that covers everything. And honor your contracts. Everything. So as long as you abide by that, you are free to do anything. Rather than at the moment, we have, I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of laws, bylaws, acts, statutes saying you can't do this, you can't do that. And they are so convoluted and complicated, deliberately to confuse us. So that really, for me, if common law is about simplicity, and I'm about KISS, keep it sweet and simple, keep it short and simple, whatever. I'm really brilliant at taking something really complicated and simplifying it.
Wow. So what do you think of the whole concept of lawyers then?
So they are unfortunately, knowingly or unknowingly, part of the matrix system. And there's one solicitor, for example, who has left being a solicitor, and he told me that all solicitors know the cheap way of doing things and the more expensive way of doing things, and they always take their clients through the more expensive way.
Wow.
And there are always, so common law is also very, very affordable. You can take a police officer or anyone to the High Court at no cost. You have to have lots of knowledge. You have to learn.
Yeah.
There's enormous amount to learn, and you can get someone to advocate on your behalf and pay them.
Yeah.
But the actual process is, it's only because we haven't been taught it that we have to learn now. But otherwise, it's incredibly simple.
Wow.
It's just been overcomplicated with the Maritime Admiralty law, where we are all considered dead as of 1666, when there was a Great Fire of London,
Oh, yes.
where they basically declared us all dead and created us as persons. And a person is not a living entity. A corporation is also referred to as a person. Either a corporation is a living being with of flesh and blood and soul, or we are dead corporations.
Yeah.
So obviously they created us as dead corporations.
Wow.
They can harvest and literally use us to on the stock exchange to make money out of our birth certificates. Now that's all very complicated, and anyone watching this right now is going to think, whoa, okay, and that's what I teach in really simplifying it. And it will still take an hour or so just at the simple level.
Yeah, because I mean, I've heard about the birth certificate thing and our name as well, and how there's a lot to put in your name in capitals. So I know it gets very complicated, doesn't it? Another thing I heard is that when we are given a name, we are ultimately, is it the property of the state, or we're like an employee of the state? Is that, that?
Sorry about that.
Become the property, you could say, of the state. That's right. So all caps is referring to a dead corporation.
Wow.
So
we've been deceived all these years, because I remember when I was at university, I studied economics and law, and I found the law part so boring. And
it's meant to be that way.
Yeah, and it's just, and there were these like pages and pages and pages of jargon. They had all these pointless things like obiter dicta, and it's like a summary, where on the economics course we used to call it additional moaning, because it was just so long, and something that they wrote 10 pages on, they could have summarized in about 2 pages. So I feel like they deliberately make things long-winded, and they put in all these Latin words just to make it complicated. Do you feel like that's the case?
It's legalese, isn't it?
You're absolutely spot on. It's designed so that it is not accessible to the common person, or not the common person, that's legalese, to the common man or woman.
Yes.
Where the common law is totally accessible to the common man or woman.
Wow, that's another thing, isn't it? We have to start referring to ourselves as the common man and woman instead of a person,
a living man,
a living man and living woman. Yeah.
So I didn't know anything about this until very, very recently, where I've been watching videos from the commonlawcourt.com. There's a lady called Shem that's doing videos on it, which I've watched all of them, just to sort of get a grounding. And I think that's kind of how I found you, to be honest, is sort of through that associated people. And then they sort of said, well, check this out. And that's how I ended up doing your one of your courses, which was fantastic, by the way. But it's been a real sort of mind-opening experience, because I didn't know this stuff existed, that common law could be this powerful, and that the police are bound by this, that we don't have to be bound by these statutes at all if we do not consent. This blew my mind. It blew my mind. It really did. And it's like a door opening that you can now see a way out of all of this COVID drama that's happening, all of this craziness that's happening. It's showing us the direction out of it.
Yeah, it's literally the way out. Is that how you feel as well, Tahra?
Oh wow, yes. Zach, you just Shuba, have you been on my Zoom trainings on
I haven't,
Wednesday?
but I'd like to attend. So
Yes, do come. So Zach really hit the nail on the head there. It really is simple. It's a doorway, and you know what? When someone gets it, like Zach has, obviously, just imagine that. Just imagine millions of us getting it. It's so simple and it's so easy. And it's the conviction that we know that this is the truth and that we can easily, fearlessly, courageously just stand up to the tyranny
yeah.
because we know that truth is on our side and we know the law is on our side and that they are the ones who are breaking the law. It might be legal, but it's not lawful. And what is lawful is far superior to their legalese.
Have you found that the police are just ignoring what people are saying in terms of this you know, the
Common law.
yeah,
Yeah.
like people are saying, you know, I do not stand under you, saying all of those things. Are the police just ignoring it and arresting them anyway?
You see, this is why, Zach, I cannot come here and say these words, because that's not what I teach. What I teach, which is what, you can go to common law courts and they'll give you that information. You can go to other Zoom calls and they'll give you that information. You can watch videos on YouTube and they will give you that information. And those, there's some people who will still do really well watching those videos, but the majority will not. The majority will get arrested. Majority will get fined. Majority will get in trouble because they don't have that connection to their divine inner power.
Right. So do you think there's a spiritual aspect to it as well as the
Shuba and Zach, you are both highly spiritual. You know that this is a spiritual battle. You know that the majority of what's going on from them against us is on the spiritual plane. They have destroyed us at the spiritual level. They've killed our spirit. We have to now revive that spirit. So saying those words is maybe not even 10%. I say it's 10%. It might even be less than 10%. So unless we get that other 90+% right, and we revive that divine spark in people, they're just going to be saying words that are going to go in one ear of these police officers coming out of the other. When I go out and I do my Lawful Observer and I speak to the police officers, they run away from me.
Yeah, I've seen it. We've seen it.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it because when they're running away from me, my Lawful Observer team, they can't keep up with me. So there's hardly any clips of me running because the camera people, and there's always 3 or 4 of them, they catch up way after.
So you must be in pretty good shape as well to be doing all that running.
I have to admit, I'm in. This is how much I've sacrificed my life, my business, and my health. That I'm less in less shape, you could say, than I have been in many years. Because I would say 20 hours out of 24 are just dedicated to what I'm doing.
Wow.
I don't see my mum, my family, my friends. The only bit of time out that I have is the Freedom Festival, time in the park or the restaurant or whatever. Apart from that, I'm chock-a-block, back to back, working on my mission.
Wow, that's incredible.
I bet that drives you on. I bet that really fulfills you.
I think I said it to you earlier. I have never in my whole life worked so hard, worked so long, slogged my guts out, slept so little, neglected myself so much, and been so happy and fulfilled.
What do you think that people in the Truther movement, what do you think they need to know? What do you think they need to know that's going to benefit them?
So first of all, that I sort of make a distinction between the truth movement and the truth and freedom movement. I think the truth and freedom movement is an evolution from the truther movement. So when I was part of the truther movement, it was full of very, very angry, upset people who were, you know, I used to say that we were like hitting people with a truth stick, whacking them with a truth stick. Get this, you stupid idiots. And that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So they needed a lot of healing, they needed a lot of spiritual evolution. And so the truth and freedom movement, we're at the next level. We're not just talking about whacking people with a truth stick. We're really creating freedom now, a world where we have our rights, our liberties, our freedoms, and we're not coming, you know, the truth movement, anger has dissipated, and it's a much more it's much more conducive to creating and manifesting the sort of world that we want. And so the next stage for me is the spiritual freedom truth movement.
Wow.
So a combination, so evolving to the highest level, which is really fighting this battle on the spiritual front, and that's fighting our own inner demons, overcoming them, and then developing ourselves, evolving ourselves, so that we are then so powerful. And that can only come when we really get present to the fact that we are all created in the image of the Creator. We are all from that same loving source. We are all equal in that loving source's eyes. And therefore we are all one. And then once we really get that, and that's where the empath comes in, because the empaths really do get the suffering of, you know, some poor starving person in Africa, or some child that's being abused. You know, they are my family. That child is my child.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know what you mean. I think that this, and by the way, this truth movement, I never feel comfortable with that, to be honest. I don't know why I said it, but it's not something. It's not a term I use very often. I think I'm just trying to encapsulate the movement that's happening now. The people that are standing up, people who are fighting for freedom, who are able to see through the BS. Those are the people I'm talking about. Oh gosh, I forgot what I was going to say now.
So you were talking about the truther movement, and you were talking about the people who are able to see the through the BS, and then
I can't remember what I was going to say.
So
your question was, what is? I think your question was what's important for people to get, and it was just that, you know, we need to evolve ourselves from you know, that we have evolved or are evolving from fighting, you know, with the truth stick, whacking it over the head, to you know, being a lot more conducive to manifesting freedom. And now the next level, the final level, is really getting in touch with our own divine inner power, and having that connection with the source within us, and with each other, uniting. And that's what will bring the whole thing together. So there's no unity at the moment.
No.
There's a lot of
separation.
Really good people. Yeah, there's lots of disparate groups, and we will never be able to come together except on a conscious level. So we're so vast. It's not going to be a case like, you know, the business world or the corporate world does it, where you have a meeting and you strategize. That's not going to happen like that. It's going to happen at the conscious level,
energy level,
energetic level. And for that requires a lot of inner work. And that's why I keep talking about, it's not about information, what I'm doing. It's about transformation. It's on that conscious level. It's on that spiritual level.
I get it. I'm going to send you my meditation that I did for the summer solstice, because I think you're going to like it. it's very much what you're saying. At that time we did the one that's called the tea break. Do you remember the tea break that we did?
Tea break video.
That whole podcast that we did, we called it the tea break, because it was one of the hottest days of summer, and we were in this studio. We were so hot. We had the fans going and everything. So we were just really casual about that podcast.
Yeah.
But in it, what we did is we talked about how everything is in here, everything's inside of us, and everything is a physical manifestation of what's inside of us. So if you change what's in here, then outside will begin to shift as well. And then we've done, and that wasn't the summer solstice song, but I did a Ho'oponopono meditation at the end of that as well. So I'll send you both of our meditations, and you're the ones that I've put out anyway. And then you'll see that we know what you're talking about. We know exactly what you mean.
I need to do a lot more work with you guys. I need to get you out there as well. You're doing amazing work.
Well, thank you. Well, likewise. I mean, what you're doing is amazing and much needed at this time.
Yeah, definitely.
So, where can people find you? Do you have a website address?
Yeah, there's 2 websites. One of them is for individuals, and that is called thefreedomfestival.uk.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is for businesses, small and medium-sized businesses, and that one is called openforbusiness.org.uk.
Amazing.
Are you on social media?
So that's where I need more people, because I'm not a social media person or woman. So I would really appreciate if there's someone who's really great on social media, be it Twitter, Facebook, etc., to come and offer their services, join us, spread the word. That would be really great. We're there's a group here and a Twitter account there, but there's nobody really putting content out at the moment.
Yeah.
Right.
So if someone wanted to join your sessions, they could just go to your website, I assume, and then they could join through there?
Yeah, so if they want to, especially for this Saturday, we don't know how regularly it's going to be for individuals, because I've got a certain number of coaches who are trained, but I need to train a lot more coaches to be able to offer it on the scale that the demand is there. So at the moment, like I said, the priority is our business owners, small and medium size. So the number of coaches that I've got trained at the moment, and we've been training really, really diligently, intensely, really long hours, we can at the moment just be of service to our business owners. And then I've got another load of coaches that are ready to be trained to come in and also train our individuals. But for a one-off, this Wednesday and this Friday, I'm offering individuals the opportunity to come and have the amazing, powerful, transformative experience in learning about their rights, about their freedoms, in relation, and have the miracle happens, and that starts at 7 o'clock and finishes at 11 p.m. And because I'm very generous, I always stay on till about midnight. So you'll get a good. So how many hours is that? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 5 hours of a workshop altogether for £58. It's divided into 2 sessions. So one of the sessions is you get the 4 hours of presentation, education, script, and then you get 1 hour of very small groups coaching sessions. So you go on the website, you can find all the information there and join in. I don't know if I'm going to do that again, or if I'm going to do that again, or whether it's just once a month, just before one of these big events. So it's this Wednesday and Friday, and then it's going to be for my small businesses, which is openforbusiness.org.uk, and for individuals it's thefreedomfestival.uk.
All of those links can be found in the show notes just below as well. So Thank you so much for giving us so much of your time and for allowing us to benefit from your wisdom. I hope you stay in touch and let us know how things are going. And yeah, we hope you come back again, and hopefully we hope that the Freedom Festival just
will
goes and grows and
will expand,
improves,
exponentially grow. Yeah.
Thank you so much, and really, it's been a pleasure being interviewed by both of you. Just beautiful souls. Thank you so much.
Oh, bless you.
No,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
So are you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Take care, and we will see you next time on Heart Nation.
Lots of love to you all. Bye.
Bye.
Lots of love, everyone. Bye bye.
So we're warning you that if there's any harm done to any of our people today, we will be holding all the senior officers personally accountable, as well as the ones that committed the crime.
How does that change in any way for my duties as president?
Okay, so I'm just putting your notice. I need to finish what I'm saying, please. Okay, so we're just going around putting on notice all the senior officers.
You're not putting on notice. I have a duty of care. This is under my command. So I tell them I'm responsible for that.
Okay.
So I don't need to notice I've got a legal justification, there's a legal onus on me.
To make sure that everything goes peacefully.
Yeah.
Okay, just letting you know, if it doesn't go peacefully, as it's not done in the past, where there have been...
You're not letting me do anything. I'm telling you where my duties.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you for your input. I have something else to do.
No. Excuse me. I'm talking to you. I haven't finished yet. I haven't finished. Okay. We need his name and number. We've got it. I've got it.
I am Chief Inspector James Hawkins, and I'm going to be deployed.
Hi. If you like what you saw, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell for all updates on our upcoming videos. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.